attack number? A motion to approve the minutes?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Second.
Second. Wrong. Okay.
No, I can't
Okay.
second.
Second, someone on the phone.
Second, somebody on the phone to approve the minutes. You have to hit star 6,000. Okay, thanks, Tom. All right. All right, very good. All in favor? Strange with those on the phone. Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Maybe that's.
Aye.
All right, the motion carries. Minutes are approved. That was a tough one. So this is our final meeting of the year, and so we're going to begin as usual with an update from Ross and the wonderful team at I Love New York. See what you've been doing since we last met, including World Pride marketing plans and fall foliage report. Following the I Love New York team reports, we'll hear from special guests. Roberta's on her way from Sullivan Catskills, and also Eric Francis and Shannon McSweeney. Thank you very much for joining us from Bethel Woods of the Arts, because we know that Woodstock 50th is coming up, so we're very excited to hear about the plans for that. So before I hand it over to Ross, I just wanted to do two quick housekeeping notes. First, I want to bring your attention to next year's meeting dates. You should all have a handout, and Kelly worked on these dates, so we reviewed the 2019 calendar so it doesn't conflict with holidays. That said, please let us know if there are any major conflicts that maybe we missed. Second, I'm thrilled to announce a huge achievement of one of our own members. Sitting next to me, Thurman Thomas. Earlier this month, the Buffalo Bills retired Thurman's number 34 during a halftime celebration at a home game, and this is only the third time in history they have ever retired a number. So it's a very big deal, and I can't think of anyone more deserving. Thurman not only was one of the best running backs of all time, but is also a great advocate for Buffalo, and now, as vice chair of TAC, has been a tremendous advocate for New York State and I Love New York. And if there's ever a group, I know you're getting called a lot more now that the jersey is retired, but Thurman, we truly do appreciate everything that you do for New York State tourism, and we congratulate you on that very high achievement.
Thank you so much.
I have a video to play.
Just a short clip.
Tonight is number 34 jersey retired by the Buffalo Bills. What a scene it has been here. Cell phones out. And 34, just the third jersey ever retired by the Bills.
Join your brothers, Jim Kelly and Bruce Smith. Let's make it official.
I want to begin by giving a great big thank you to the city of Buffalo, my home, and to all of my fans. Some of y'all are crazy as hell. You know who you are, but you have supported me throughout my entire career and beyond, good times and bad. I love each and every one of you with more than you will ever know.
Thank you. Anything you want to add?
No, I mean, it was a great weekend. Obviously, the Bills didn't win the game, but
Because you weren't playing.
but no, it was a great weekend. Saw a lot of family and friends, and a lot of players that I hadn't seen over the past 15, 20 years, and to have an owner like Terry and Kim Pagula, who I never even played for, have this honor at halftime for me was really special for my family and my friends. So I give hats off to them. They've done a tremendous job with trying to bring Buffalo back along with what I'm doing there in the Buffalo and Rochester and sometimes Syracuse area. So I just really appreciate everything they've done, and I'll continue to do what I've always done, which is continue to help people and try to make lives for everybody else better for everybody else.
Thank you, Thurman.
Thank you.
It's really an honor to be with you.
Thank you.
That is my report. So I'm going to end on a great note like that. So, Ross, I'm going to hand it over to you. You got the ball.
See? Man, I didn't know if there was going to be retiring Christine's number today, maybe, but she's still playing, so we can't do that yet. So great, congratulations, Tony. That's really exciting, and it really is an honor for us for you to be in our ranks and helping be part of the team of our team, the Island of New York team, helping to get people excited about our state in a new way. So thank you so much. So, as usual, we're busy, and there's plenty to report on. So I just want to spend some time talking about some of the highlights of what's happened since our last TAC meeting. The governor hosted another Ride the Catskills event. There's going to be, I think, a Catskills theme a little bit today, which is good. The governor's done this a couple times, where he invites some of his closest friends to come motorcycling with him in various parts of the state, and this one was in the Catskills. It was Friday, October 26th. You probably don't remember, but if you remember the first coldest day of the year, it was that one. It was a very, very chilly morning, but that didn't stop 35 stalwart riders from joining us early in the morning at Hunter Mountain, where we started. We then motorcycled to the Harley-Davidson store in Woodstock, just a quick stop there, then to Bel Air Mountain for a lunch program, and finishing off with the Roscoe Brewery. I hear riders they haven't really ridden if they don't end at a place like a brewery. And this is the sort of event that you actually have bikers, that only do part of it, other ones join you halfway through, but we started with 35. I don't have the end count. But it was a great day. The program at that lunch included the DEC commissioner, the parks commissioner, the head of ORDA, and they were there to announce some new investments in the Catskill region to increase tourism there. That included $9.1 million to expand the Discovery Lodge at Bel Air Mountain and really update. It's a great historic lodge there, but what goes along with historic is it's not necessarily giving 100% of everything it needs to the visitors, and so now this improvement will really allow us to expand that. The opening of a pedestrian-friendly round table at Olana at routes 9G and 23 in Greenport, and a pedestrian walkway from the Thomas Cole National Historic Site to the Rip Van Winkle Bridge. This is a key part of the Hudson River Skywalk, which both those things together, the rotary and the walkway over the bridge, is trying to create a sort of pedestrian-friendly way of walking, and I think even biking, from Thomas Cole to Olana and connect them in a way which makes sense. So that was an exciting announcement made there. So, overall these events have a very particular objective, which is to highlight the regions where they are held, and also the activity going on, the idea of biking and cycling, not just motorbikes, but also regular bicycling. And to highlight that, and make people aware that this is a great place in New York State to do that, and in fact there are places all over New York State to do that. And so we had lots of local officials with us, tourism partners, attractions. We had a couple of 100 people at lunch. Rick was there, Karen was there, a number of people in the room were there. So it was a great day. Another kickoff that I attended was the announcement of 6 new cuisine trails in the North Country. There are a number of these across New York State, a handful actually, and these 6 double the number of those. These are trails that wind through basically agritourism and food and beverage-based destinations in a region, whether that's produce, dairy, beef and maple farms, orchards, restaurants, breweries, wineries, cideries, distilleries. You get the idea. Anything to do with food and drink. These particular 6 trails are going to have 83 businesses on them in Clinton, Essex, and Franklin counties. And so they will be marketed on the Taste New York website. Trail maps will be available. And, of course, at the Adirondack Welcome Center at the Isle of New York kiosks, those will have information on these trails as well. And, this is obviously big business and an important part of tourism in New York State. The reports show that 93% of travelers worldwide seek out notable food and beverage experiences while traveling. So this is a key part of people's vacations. And the creations of these cuisine trails will sort of boost New York's growing agritourism sector and spotlight this region's unique farms and food and beverage businesses, which I think for the Adirondacks is particularly important because I think people think of a lot of great things with the Adirondacks. They think of hiking and canoeing and fishing, but I don't think they necessarily think about food and beverage. And so this is another way of highlighting that region is actually chock full of that, particularly farm to table, which is, as we know, getting more and more notoriety now. On September 26th, this wasn't an event that we held, but in fact we were invited to deliver testimony in front of the Assembly Tourism, Parks, Arts, and Sports Development Committee and the Subcommittee on Museums and Cultural Institutions. Chairman O'Donnell and Chairman Carroll, had put together this hearing, and other Assembly members were there as well, not just for us, but for all sorts of folks, nonprofits, the State Council for the Arts, to talk about the importance of arts and cultural tourism to New York State and how the state can do a better job of supporting that. For us, it was an opportunity to discuss the new and existing artistic cultural programs that exist in New York and how they can increase job growth and economic development. It allowed us to talk about the importance of cultural tourism and how that's really a core plank of our work, and explain the sort of myriad ways that we promote with museums, cultural centers, performing arts spaces. And so we talked about the commercials we've done that have highlighted that. We talked about Market New York grants that have gone to those kinds of institutions. We talked about Path Through History and Path Through History weekends and how there's a plank that's specifically about arts and cultural history. So we were able to sort of lay out there everything that was going on. And the Assembly is very interested in looking at the way the state funds these institutions, because that's been handled a number of different ways over the past few years. Sometimes that's gone through done directly through the legislature. Sometimes that's been done directly through the governor's office. And so there's been, I think one of the purposes of this is to take a look at how that's done and find the most effective way to do that. Moving outside of our state, and indeed outside of our nation, it's worth mentioning that the WTM, the World Travel Mart, happened in London, November 4th through 6th. And as usual, we were there with a nice, strong presence. Mark Lee Wilson, our head of international sales, who can't be with us today because he's heading a Canadian sales mission to 3 different cities in Canada. He headed our delegation there. We had representatives from Wine, Water, and Wonders program. Chris Bedone, who introduced himself earlier on the phone, was there for that. We had reps from Long Island, Central New York, and also from Hudson Valley. And so that was a great delegation. We share our space with New York City, so it's a really nice presence at that event, that people see that the state is not only New York City and all that has to offer, but also the state as well. We even had, for the first time, New York State spelled out on the display, which was a nice addition this year. We had 53 meetings there, likes of Expedia, National Geographic, and a number of airline partners, and of course, most importantly, those tour operators, which is the main reason we go. And we've seen what has been the trend now for a few years, is the progress we've been making in key markets, and especially the United Kingdom, where we're not having to spend the time of letting people know that New York State is there. In fact, we're spending the time talking about the products that they're offering, expanding those products, expanding the number of destinations that they sell to their clients. So it's so much better to be educating about that and talking about real business than just talking about, oh gee, you should know there's something called the Thousand Islands sort of thing. So that was a very successful effort, and we'll continue with ITB in Berlin next on the roster after into the new year. And then we do lots of different types of industry events, and rather than go into every one, just to make you aware that it's a real priority for us to continue to improve our relationship with our tourism partners, with the tourism industry in New York State. We want to be a good partner. We want to be a reliable resource for information. We, of course, want to be doing our work in a way that comes together, not working at cross purposes, but that we're echoing and amplifying each other's work. And so we feel it's an important priority to attend regional events that our partners put on and invite us to be a part of statewide events put on by our industry, and even sort of national tourism events that have chosen to come to New York to be a part of that as well. This helps us stay in touch with the industry, hear their concerns, integrate those concerns, change the way we do things. And we like to think it also brings some of the state stature to their work, so that when a regional partner holds an event and the state is there, that could be a little bit of bragging rights for them as well. So since we met last, you can see this long list of things we've done. Samples of those regional events I was talking about. We went to the Visit Rochester annual meeting. We went to the Thousand Islands Tourism Summit, which is an interesting event because it's a binational event. It's Canada and both the Canadian side and the U.S. side of the Thousand Islands working together, and they had a tourism summit to talk about how to do that better. Columbia County Travel Industry Business Forum. That was something where Columbia County comes to New York City kind of for their own little mini sales mission. And we attended all those events to give an update on what we do and how we support the industry, particularly in these contexts when we're there. We also attended the annual meetings of statewide partners like Nestea, Campground Owners of New York. We were at the Travel Unity Summit. We have a rep from there here today, 2 reps from there here today. Three reps from there.
And if Ethan's on the phone, 4.
There you go, with great presence, which was, you've heard me talk about at prior meetings, is an event that is held to talk about how does the industry conduct its business in a way that talks to all the different communities that we represent, which is everybody, the diversity of the world. Both that our industry reflects that in who we are, but how we serve those communities as well, which is a really important priority. So it's great that there's a conference to do that. We were happy to be a part of that as well. And then a couple of those national events that were here. The Asian American Hotel Owners had their Northeast Regional Meeting. And so we were there to act as spokespeople for New York State. And, they've chosen New York and they're bringing their business here. So it gives us an opportunity to go and say hello. Thank you for choosing New York. Let them know that we're proud to be partners with them. And so those are the sorts of industry activities we've been involved with. So at this point, I'm actually going to hand it over to my colleague, Sarah Emmert, because we had a Path Through History weekend since we last met. She can give you an update on that.
Yeah, so we continued to experience great success with our Path Through History Weekends program, and we continued with 2 weekend events, one in June on Father's Day, and then the second just recently in October on Columbus Day. We tend to have these weekends in the shoulder seasons to help boost visitation when it's a little bit lower for these historical sites, which hopefully boosts businesses in their area, like restaurants and hotels. For Father's Day weekend, we had a total of 483 events, including the Glass Barge at the Hudson River Maritime Museum, Scott's Day at Fort Ticonderoga. And for Columbus Day weekend, we had a total of 379 events, including the Northeast Classic Car Museum. They had a Lego show for kids, a 25th annual New York Transit Bus Festival, and Dalmatian Day at the Firemen's Association of New York. We also launched a sticker promotion this year as a way to kind of help promote the weekends on social media, as well as to try and help us track attendance to these events. Participating attractions, they got Path Through History stickers, which were handed out to all the attendees, and they were able to use the sticker and post a photo on social media, and they used the designated hashtag with Path Through History Weekend and could be entered for a giveaway, which we picked winners for.
That's a close-up picture of it up there.
Yes, that's the sticker. And that was the winner from this past round. So for this year, we had a total of 862 events for both weekends, which actually surpassed 2017, which had a total of 782 events. That's actually tripled since we began Path Through History Weekends in 2013. So each year we continue to see this grow, which is really great response from our historic sites. And I also just want to acknowledge Priscilla from Greater Hudson Heritage Network. They're our vendor that we work with, and they help put together these events, and they're really instrumental in working with the attractions and getting out our collateral and organizing everything on our website. So thank you to Priscilla and the team.
And this is obviously our partners, the Path Through History attractions across New York State, hosting these events. So they're doing a ton of work. But I think it goes sort of unsung, the amount of work on our side to help spur those events, to promote them, to coordinate things, to get a calendar together, to get these materials out. We make sure that everyone has information on these weekends so that they're promoting them year round. So there's a lot of work on our side as well. And it's I think, a great example of sort of the state doing its part but our partners doing their part and actually doing the local work here. They're the ones putting on the events, but in a way that they couldn't do it without us, and we couldn't do it without them. So it's really great to see that it has been responded to so well, and we can see 200+% growth since this launch just a few years ago in the number of events that take place. Thank you, sir. As you heard, we're going to be hearing in a little bit about the Woodstock 50th anniversary coming up next year. But as you've heard me say in prior years, 1969 was a hell of a year for the world, for the United States, and of course New York. We lead the world. And so it was not only the year of the Woodstock Festival, it was also the year of the Stonewall Rebellion, the birthplace, what's considered by most the birthplace of the modern LGBT rights movement. And so, we've been working hard to get ready for that event, and wanted to let you know that those efforts are continuing and, dare I say, even amping up. You've heard that we've been doing a lot of work in terms of going to Pride and other LGBT events across the world, literally. And we've continued doing that. Just most recently, we had Palm Springs, I think, right?
The beginning of November.
Yeah, in the beginning of November. We have Miami coming up
in
a
April.
little after the first of the year. And so that continues. But now we've also launched our paid advertising campaign, print and digital. You can see up there, for example, that is an advertorial. Don't be afraid if you can't read it. It's in German because it's in Spartacus, a German publication. Again, we're trying to do an international effort. The strategy here is to raise awareness that New York State is hosting World Pride and spur those when they come here. And so that's actually why we're focusing on further away. We see this as sort of a golden opportunity to reach longer haul places, whether it's Miami, LA, California, or international, to say, look, you may be coming to this great party, and you should. First of all, this great event is happening. You should come and be a part of it, and you should have your ultimate LGBT New York State vacation while you're here. Why would you want to travel all that way and not come up to Bethel Woods or go to Niagara Falls or get to the Hudson Valley and Catskills, et cetera, et cetera? So we have print ads and custom content articles that are running in major LGBT publications. We have digital ads on some major travel websites, some LGBT-related websites, some social platforms, and as usual, we're trying to be high tech and cutting edge on this stuff, so that a lot of times our advertising is following people, or we are aware of people that have booked on a travel website that they're already booked to come to New York, so they will receive specific information telling them, so here, you want to get out in the state as well, or people that have just visited like the World Pride website, so we can reach out to them. We actually have a web video that's literally hot off the editing deck that we thought you'd like to see.
Come to the city that started a movement. In the state with so much to be proud of. As New York hosts World Pride in June of 2019, we invite you to show your pride and let us show ours. With everything from wild adventures, to breathtaking views, to fun memories and unforgettable discoveries. Come see for yourself what makes us proud to call New York State home. Visit iloveny.com/worldpride to learn more.
And so that'll be running as paid advertisement in a number of different digital outlets. And then another component of this that you've heard us talk about is the idea of trying to spur special events across the state that is going to be an additional reason for travelers to come to the rest of New York while they're here for World Pride. And we've been talking to a lot of partners. Folks are working on that, a lot of things in the works. But the one thing we can announce, because it's the first official one that's been announced, is Pride at the Falls. Niagara State Park on Friday, July 5th, will be hosting a concert by the Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra, followed by a fireworks show, and hopefully, probably, the falls lit up in rainbow colors. It'll all be free. And so, again, that'll be the Friday after the big parade, the march here in New York City, which, again, gives the incentive for folks to extend that vacation and get out into the state. And then the last thing I just want to touch on is, of course, to let you know that winter's coming. But in a good way here in New York State. Some would say winter's here.
Wait. Can I ask a question real quick on the World Pride thing? Sorry, it's Gail.
No, go ahead, Gail.
Have you partnered? There are a lot of travel agencies, and I'm happy to give you the list, that specializes in LGBT travel. And have you partnered with them to help them understand what's going on throughout the state and working with them so that they could put special itineraries together that they could market to their clients? Because they do a ton of marketing on their own, and that could really help perhaps gain incremental interest across the board.
I think we'd love to have that list, Gary. We've been doing that largely through our international sales work, but not as much domestically. So I think that'd be really helpful.
Okay, and I have an international list as well. So
Great.
I'm happy to introduce you to those agencies that really specialize in this because they could help promote it across the board as well.
Great. That would be really helpful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so on winter, we've already started to transition in terms of marketing winter as a tourism season. Our website is, if you've gone there since Thanksgiving, you'll see that has switched over to winter. We've begun our ski reports already on 1-800-CALL-NYS because, yes, skiing has started in New York State. And we're, of course, working on our television advertising. That should be done shortly. And, of course, we'll share that with all of you, probably by email since it'll be before our next meeting, to make sure you're aware of that once that is finalized. And that's the report of what's been going on.
Wow. Just a few little things, right? All right. Well, we have a great digital campaign as well, and Anna, you've been very busy with that, so if you wouldn't mind filling us in on how that's going, we appreciate it.
Yes, love to. And first, I want to introduce a new team member. So Richard Martin joined us as of last week as our managing editor for the I Love New York website and mobile app. He has a really great editorial background, spent the last 7 years running the website Food Republic with Chef Marcus Samuelson, with Miami Manhattan Magazine, so, a bit of a destination background, and we're really excited to have him on the team. So welcome, Richard.
Thank you.
So with that, I want to talk about my personal favorite season, fall. So I'm sure everyone here has seen our fall foliage report, which continues to be the absolute most popular page on our website every year. Our team members in Albany work with, I want to say, about 70 leaf keepers throughout the state, so people who actually keep their eyes on the leaves in all of the various regions around the state and report in, which is kind of what you see on the left there in that map. That's the fall foliage report. And what we've kind of been doing every year is thinking about how we can further leverage that across platforms. I'm going to try to make this a little interactive. So, show of hands, who here has ever watched an Instagram story? Oh, great. Who here has ever put up an Instagram story? Not Ross. Doesn't have Instagram.
Wasn't that good?
That was good.
So whisper to me, you've seen one? I'm impressed.
I was both shocked and impressed when you raised your hand for that one too. So Instagram continues to be our fastest growing social platform, and what we've done there in the Instagram stories is really leveraged that product to share the latest foliage reports with people right on that platform. Of course, also encouraging them to swipe up as they're going along and to go to the website for the full report. So we just share a few. Kelly, I don't know if we can play the story so people can see it. Awesome. So sharing beautiful photos of a few of the places featured within the report, then with a call to action to actually bring people to the website where they can access the full thing and start their vacation planning. We've also done a lot with, just general editorial content around the fall foliage, building upon the interest that we see from the reports, telling people the best places to go and see the foliage. So if you want to play that one.
Instagram stories.
That was the scariest thing I've ever done.
Chicken. I was so scared. I want to do it.
So again, there's that swipe up feature. So if anyone swipes up, they're taken to a full-length article that shows more ways that you can go and experience a fall foliage all across the state. Halloween is also one of our greatest hits during the fall. A lot of people are very interested in Halloween content. So this year we've leveraged into a little bit of a fun pick your own adventure story where users were asked to tap through either 1 or 2 times, which we'll see once we play the story, to find various Halloween attractions that they might enjoy with their families during the season. So you can make a date with a ghost. Or go to a haunted house, only if you dare.
Oh, a spider.
So as you can see, there's a lot to do for Halloween throughout the state, and we're always looking for fun and innovative ways to engage the audience and to pique their interest in terms of traveling throughout the season. So the I Love New York app, hopefully everyone here, let's do another interactive display. So who here has downloaded the I Love New York app? And if you're not raising your hand, you should download it now. It's available on the iPhone and Android app stores. It is completely free. It will not take up too much of your memory, I promise. So definitely download it. It's actually won a number of awards over the past few years, and we're always looking for ways that we can build upon what we have there and create new features. So we recently did a new release is what it's called. So if you haven't updated your app in a while, go to the App Store and update it to see these features. So I'm going to do another show of hands, and I realize we're on video, so I'm going to make a caveat for this one. You don't have to be talking about yourself. You could have done it for a friend. Who here has ever used an app like Tinder? Grindr or OkCupid or could be swiping for a friend at a party. We've all done it. Maybe not everyone, but thank you to the brave souls that have admitted it. So I do have a point. So one of the new features that we've introduced is a feature called Discover New York, which is a function that instead of swiping on people that you might like to meet, we're asking you to swipe on attractions that you might like to visit. So based on, it's the same concept. You swipe right if you like something, swipe left if, it's not your cup of tea. And based on your right swipes, it matches you with other attractions throughout the state that you might want to visit. We also launched virtual reality. So if you've never seen it, it's basically a 360-degree video. If you move your phone, it moves with you. It's kind of hard to see on the, we'll show it on the video. It's best experienced in the phone. So I encourage everyone to actually go into the app and play around with it. And we've also introduced editorial content into the app. So we have noticed that on our website, a lot of the blog content and other editorial content has been incredibly popular. So we wanted to put some of that longer form, more inspiration-oriented content into the app to kind of augment the experience, particularly as people are looking through different regions they might want to visit and looking for things that they might like. So Kelly, if you can play. So the first feature you'll see is Discover New York. So you can also click into the various attractions that you see there to learn more about them, to learn if they might fit your interests or not. And then that helps you find your matches. So you see your results, and then you have a number of similar attractions that the algorithm suggests for you. So next we're going to take a look at the mountain coaster that's in the Finger Lakes. So this is a virtual reality content. So imagine yourself holding your phone. This gives you a first-person view into what riding this coaster is like. And as you move your phone, as you spin around, you can see all the different views that you would have if you were to go on this particular ride.
That's a good score.
And finally, here we have one of the editorial pieces that we've kind of adapted to the app, 12 things to do with kids in Syracuse. So if you're planning to go to Syracuse, New York, or you are in Syracuse, you can get a quick read and more information on some of those places. So that's all I have for digital.
That's plenty, and I'm very impressed with it, Anna. You've done a great job with it, so thank you. And Richard, welcome. So, it's going to be terrific working with you. Any questions for Anna? What I'm going to ask is we're going to introduce Lisa next to speak. Well, Ross, you're going to talk about events, but when you come to the press, I don't know if you've gotten any press yet for this sort of Tinder-esque app, but I think it's innovative. Are any other states doing something similar?
As far as we know, no. Most state apps are pretty basic, and they haven't really advanced since the point where they launched. They're more, informational in nature. So, it's kind of something that we try to do every year. We look at what's going on in the overall app market. So we don't just look at other states for inspiration. We look at overall consumer behavior, the kinds of apps people are, using, the kind of features that people are building into all kinds of different apps outside of travel. So that helps inspire, what we do with it.
China too. All the great events that we have coming up. They're really meetups, right? I mean, that's what they are. Okay, terrific. Thank you. Ellie, Eleanor Tatum's on the line, and she had a question. So,
I think she has hit *6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can unmute it.
So, Ellie, if you're still there, I'm going to try to unmute the phone for you.
No?
Eleanor, are you there?
All right, I'll text her again.
Okay.
She'll let me know. Ross.
Yep.
Oh.
So we are going to be talking about what our experiential team has been up to, which is mainly the welcome centers. You may have known or you may remember that the deadline has been upon us to have all 11 welcome centers open and complete, and we're just about there. Lizette Montero was going to be giving this report because you'll remember she was the head of experiential until just recently, because at the last TAC meeting we announced that she had been promoted to be Senior Vice President of Marketing overall. So she's working on those winter commercials and lots of other things as well. And as you heard, she introduced herself as a new team member who will now be heading that up. But it's only been a couple weeks? Two. So we're not going to throw her into the fire that fast and make her give this report. So I'll do it in Lizette's stead. To give you an update on what's been happening with the Welcome Centers. So the Adirondacks Welcome Centers opened in Queensbury. That's in Warren County on the northbound side of the Northway, the Adirondack Northway. As you're heading north of Albany and Saratoga, you can see the beautiful I Love New York selfie sculpture from the highway as you're driving. It's been getting a lot of attention. It's an 8,615 square foot building that's LEED certified. It's 4 times the size of the buildings that have serviced that rest area for decades. And I was there for the opening ceremony, and that's one of the main things we heard from folks is, this is so much an improvement of what was there before, how excited they were to have this stand for their region now for guests that would be arriving. As you know, each of these are designed in a particular style of the area, and this one is designed in the classic Adirondack theme and offers expanded parking and restroom facilities. It has an electric car charging station, recyclables collection, so it very much is keeping in that Adirondack green theme, in addition to being LEED certified. And additionally, in time for the boating season next spring, and I think there are other slides that we can scroll through as we go. You can see there's like the indoor selfie wall, where it's not just for you to get to stand, but you actually get to sit in a ski lift. But in time for the boating season next spring, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation will be opening a boat inspection and washing station right at this facility. So that's a real service, and it also helps prevent the spread of invasive species and preserve biodiversity within the Adirondack Park. Boaters know it's a big deal. They can walk up to a boat or transportable around the state. Similar to other welcome centers, it contains the I Love New York interactive kiosk, floor map, the I Love New York selfie wall, you can see there. and that decommissioned ski chairlift from Gore Mountain Ski Resort. And then for family travelers, like most of these, it has an outdoor children's play area, which is very unique in that you can kind of see it in the back, the green with the red. There's a zip line. It's like a mini zip line that you get on, you go across. And I will say, even though it's called the children's play area, whenever I've been there, the children all seem to be college age. Right? There seems to be lots of adults that love doing the zip line. There's a pet comfort area, as there often is at these welcome centers, free Wi-Fi, cell phone charging stations, picnic tables, and of course, Adirondack chairs. The Hudson Valley Catskills Welcome Center has opened at the Woodbury Common Premium Outlets. You'll remember that there was one that opened at Destiny USA. This kind of continues that theme. Some of these are immediately off the highway. Some of them are at sort of highly trafficked areas to get the attention of visitors and potential visitors. This is the first one that has a circular projection screen. All of these have beautiful digital projection screens showing the attractions in the region. What looks up there, I guess, kind of like a billboard that in a circle, that's a video screen. So that's pretty spectacular. 270-degree wraparound video screen that highlights the local tourism attractions and destinations. There's the Taste New York Market, which features locally grown products from across the regions. And by the way, in the Adirondacks one, most of that, there are different rules and laws that govern these stations in terms of what they can and can't sell. The one on the Adirondacks has vendors, vending machines. But they're the most interesting vending machines you ever saw. Not so much the machines, they're regular machines, but what's in them. Literally, there is not only just food from the region, but there's stuff to take with you, like barbecue sauce. Mm-hmm. And there's even like tourism maps and different things. So that's one way that was handled there. But here there is an actual Taste New York store. There's the I Love New York kiosk, of course. An artifacts wall, which features specially curated items showcasing the region's heritage. This, again, you see at all the Welcome Center. We're able to talk to the local museums and historic and cultural attractions that donate artifacts. So to get people excited, not only to tell them what region they're in and give them a sense of place, but to get them excited to explore more, see more, visit different places. You can see, for example, that Bethel Woods was nice enough to donate an actual Woodstock poster from the music festivals, an exciting artifact. And then there's a Walk of Fame, as there are for most of these, which recognizes famous New Yorkers from the regions, and a large floor map that outlines the regions that are covered here that highlights particular attractions. You can see that's inlaid on the floor. And then the most recent, the Capital Region, just opened literally, I think it was the Friday before Thanksgiving, 15 miles south of Albany in New Baltimore. The exterior and interior are designed after the architecture rooted in the traditional Dutch heritage of the area. You can see that architecture as you walk around Albany. It features, again, a floor map, an artifacts wall, cafe-style seating with large video screens, and a Taste New York Market.
So that's new build? That's not...
That one is a new build.
Retrofit?
No, that one. Some are retrofitted. So, for example, the Adirondacks one was old buildings. To be honest, I'm not sure if they knocked them down and rebuilt. But anyway, at least there was a rest area there. This does still have the New Baltimore rest area that you get off that has a gas station, all those things. But on the way there, if you're familiar with it, there's like kind of this big roundabout you have to go to get there. In that roundabout is this new construction in this new building. And so that's the quick overview. I think there is one more Welcome Center to come. I think it's in Thousand Islands, which is literally, I think, dare I say, days away, but don't quote me.
I just want to say that I went to the Hudson Valley one in the Woodbury Common. Lizette gave me a quick sneak peek. It's a great addition. It really... the mural and the videos and everything. But one of the things that was really nice is you saw on the right-hand side, you saw there's a tourism quiz, interactive, where you can actually try different tourism questions. I took a leap of faith. Lucky to get 100% of the 5 questions right. But it's really a nice addition, and I really appreciate the governor and the state putting those in. It's really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, one of my favorite things is whenever I go to the openings of these, you have a lot of elected officials, of course. And so then to see like the state assembly members and state senators do the trivia quiz. Like, nobody's watching, Senator. That's okay if you fail. Trivia the region.
Great. Nicely done. Okay, Lisa Soto. Let's talk about public relations.
Let's talk about public relations. Hi. So, as Ross said, winter is coming. In the PR world, we've been ready for winter since October when we had our winter media night. For those of you who may not be familiar, we have these media events 3 times a year, a few months ahead of the season to get the travel media ready and prepared to promote the seasonal travel in New York. For our winter media night, we traditionally hold it in conjunction with ORDA and SANY. So ORDA is the Olympic Regional Development Authority that manages the state ski mountains, and then SANY, the ski association. Thank you. I was going to say authority. Ski Association of New York. We had it at Tavern on the Green, which was the same location we had at last year, which was absolutely beautiful. Great food, beautiful space for us to have the event. We had great participation, 11 ski mountains, 10 of our regions attended. We also invited our travel partners such as Metro North, Amtrak, the parks, and DEC, Department of Environmental Conservation, to talk about the different things that they have going on for the winter as well. And we had 87 media attended, which is fantastic. This is actually one of our larger media nights because of the combination of the ski industry and our tourism partners. We also had different activities that evening. We had a barbershop quartet going around singing winter type songs and New York State songs, and just kind of gave it a nice festive feel to the event. We also had this ice sculpture, which was a great photo op for people. We had ORDA bought the bobsled, which people were able to get inside the bobsled and take pictures. The Strong Museum of Play came, and they created a build-out for people to be able to, quote, vote on the inductees to the Toy Hall of Fame, which was fantastic, and people were able to take they had little ping pong balls, and everybody was kind of able to put in their own vote. The final winners were actually, somebody asked me that the last time I spoke about this, were Uno, Pinball, and the Magic 8 Ball. We also invited, we also had our TPAs bring craft beverages with them, some of the local craft breweries and cideries with them, so people were able to have tastes of like the upcoming seasonal and like holiday brews and drinks that would be available for the season. So the very next day, we scheduled this for the very next day, we were offered the opportunity to have an event with Meredith Publication editors. So for anyone who may not be familiar, Meredith Publications recently bought out Time Inc., and so they have a huge array of family publications, which is obviously what we are looking for. And they offered us this opportunity to have our travel partners meet with their editors at like no quid pro quo, nothing, just kind of come, we'll host you, and you can have these one-on-one meetings with our editors, which is kind of unheard of in this day and age. I think, years ago it was probably always kind of a, for advertising, deals, but that was not the case at all. We had a great afternoon where with all of our TPAs, they came and set us up in a room, and throughout the afternoon, the editors from different publications, including Martha Stewart Living, Real Simple, Parents, Family Circle, etc., all came down and met with all of the different regions, and everyone had great conversations, and hopefully we will see some results and articles very soon. And the last thing that is not on the slide that I want to mention, because it's hot off the presses, as of today, because it just got published today, Frommer's has listed New York State as one of their best places to go in 2019. Which is a fantastic honor. So I'm just reading a little bit of background here. The article, this article in general, their best places to go is beloved and widely read feature on their website. Last year's list was either the first, second, or third ranked on the Google search for best places to go. So it is a fantastic honor. If you have a chance, check that out on their website, farmers.com.
And that is places in the world.
Yeah.
And there's only 19 or 20 of them. 19.
19.
Top 19.
4 in the U.S.
And only 4 in the U.S. So that includes us. So it's a very big deal. I mean, we all know Fromers, so it's very exciting.
I don't know. I have to find that out. She was asking about.
If we could use the badge like we used for Loman.
Yeah. Yep. I have to find out. This is literally, we just got the news yesterday, so still developing.
That's fantastic.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I do want to point out that, as Lisa dropped in there but didn't highlight, so there was the media night. The next morning was the Meredith event. So that meant not only a lot of work for our partners who were down, and that's why we did it that way, so that when the TPAs were coming from around the state to already be here for media night, they didn't have to make 2 trips, that they could just extend their stay and the next day do Meredith, which made it easier for them, I think, probably, hopefully. But probably meant harder for our team. So between Finn and Lisa and Danae and our others that worked on this effort, I really just want to highlight that was a pretty intense effort. To have those both go as well and really, I think, pay dividends for the state was a real tribute. So thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Any questions for Lisa? Comments? Okay. Finn Partners, thank you very much for your fine work. Okay, so we have 3 very exciting guest speakers today. One who we know very well, Roberta Byron Lockwood is the Sullivan County Visitors CEO. But before that, and probably why we know you so well, you've been in the industry a long time. But you were also here with I Love New York. So you were I want to get it right, the Assistant Deputy Commissioner of Marketing and Advertising for Empire State Development and Tourism. So welcome back.
Yeah, it's fun to be back in the building, isn't it?
Yep. Roberta also was the White House designee under President Clinton for tourism for New York State. Very exciting. And under your leadership, I'm just gonna brag a little bit about you because I've had the pleasure of working with Roberta for many years when I was in my previous role at NYC and Company. So your budget and your visitor spending has increased by over 20% just since 2009, right?
Correct.
And you are also the 2018 recipient of Women Distinction Award from your Senate district. So congratulations. I'm very happy you're here. I don't know if you want to give an overview first, or if we should just
give me the region, if you didn't mind, and
Absolutely.
then we'll go right into delve down to the. First of all, thank you, all of you. It's fun to be back here, and long-standing advocate. The only thing I've ever promoted was New York State tourism, from further upstate to Catskills, and of course the entire state. So my love is I love New York, quite frankly. Very exciting to be here in the Catskills. I've been there since 2000. Which is fun. We're about 90 minutes outside of this beautiful city, which took me forever to get from just 2 blocks today. It was silly. It was an hour, and I'm like, you were redeeming though when I met you in the hallway. I wasn't the last one. Right. We're about 90 minutes away. We're the gateway destination to the Catskill region, and we're proud to be part of the Mid-Hudson Catskill designated area, the Mid-Hudson Economic Development Region, on which I'm REDS. We work and collaborate with all of our partners to try to increase and new quality marketing and economics for our entire area. But as you see, what we're known for is the scenic beauty of the Catskill Mountains and the Getaway. We are part of, our river happens to be the Delaware and the Sullivan Catskills, and it happens to be a national park. And we're very much a part of the 3-state New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York State Nat Geo project, which highlights all of our river communities and brings them together and really features the beauty and the quaint of that downtown Americana, where you actually can walk and see everything that's available to you. We were America's first vacation region, and yes, we were the home to Dirty Dancing and all the comedians made their start in some of our old resort hotels across. But today, and also, we have birthplace of American fly fishing, which today is the Fly Fishing Hall of Fame. Outdoor adventure. You saw our in our Catskill region as well as in Sullivan, we have zip lines, a lot of canoeing, a lot of water rafting, a lot of great outdoor adventure. Skiing, we leave that to our partners in the region. We have some great ski areas in Ulster and in Greene and in the Delaware County areas of the Catskills. We have a small hill with a lot of great outdoor activities. Of course, our most famous is the original 1969 Woodstock Festival and Bethel Woods, which is right in our backyard, and we take great pride, and we're quite honored to have this world-class performing arts center that sits on the original site of this famous festival that changed what we can be the entire generation. And of course, thank you, Governor Cuomo, because you had the foresight and understanding of how important this event was, and we have now the National Register, which is exciting for us. Landscape's kind of changed, and we've done a little bit of, and a lot of old is new with us, but we've got some growing awareness that's happening. We too have gotten a great award in the Catskill region, and of course very important to Sullivan Catskills because so much of it featured a lot of our product and our attractions, and the fact that we have this 50th anniversary. But Lonely Planet named the Catskills one of the top, actually number 2 in the top 10 regions to visit in the world. We are the only destination in the United States that made the list. So we're quite pleased with this. It's a badge of honor that you'll probably get sick of hearing us say, but we've been starting since October 22nd at what time, 7:02? We began telling the world that we're number 2 in the entire world, and we're the only one in the United States, the only one in the Great Empire State. So you'll hear us until December 31st of 2019. When we've asked them to make us the number 1, but that's what we're doing there. Voters has also just named us one of the best places to travel in 2019. We're very thrilled. We're all just too good to be true. Lots of great page reviews. Our website page views have gone up to 395K, over 25,000 social media followers. We've had features this past year in Wall Street Journal, several New York Times, Scottish Times, London Daily Mail, all over. A lot of this is a great deal to do with the team at I Love New York and our partnership. Our team at home, we have a PR firm also from the city here at the door. And we also work with our region and our 4 counties, the Ulster County, Delaware County, and Greene County team works quite diligently to make sure that we showcase and put forward all of our attractions and the difference in being in the Catskills, because it really is a unique experience and I think unparalleled. We'll continue to build upon our legacy. We're very pleased we have 5 diamond state-of-the-art resorts, Resort World's Catskills, is one of the largest gaming installations that opened just this past year. Yolan Wellness Catskills also made its opening this past year, which is a unique Indian holistic wellness right here in the Monticello area. We also have taken a lot of our old and turned them into new. A lot of our more experiential inns and hotels are now places known as the Foster Supply properties, like the Arnold House, the DeBruce, Nine River. These are all new properties that have made quite a scene on the market front. Our food and beverage experience continues to expand. Unique chefs coming into our area. Not only do we have a big farm-to-table experience, but our award-winning restaurants are just peaking almost to the Michelin-style type residencies here. We've got some great events that have been happening and capitalizing on chefs coming and experiencing that whole foraging for your meal and then having it prepared by some of the finest chefs in the area. We're pleased to also tell you Scott Conant's made his restaurant debut inside our Resort World's Catskills. Next week we're going to be opening our first International Dream. We're going to have a groundbreaking for the International Dream Hotel. Chatwell Lodge will be within our Chapin Estates. And then, of course, after that, we have the Alder Preserve and a few other hotels that'll be making openings. The Cartwright Indoor Water Park, Resort and Indoor Water Park, will be opening at the end of March. We've got quite a few keys coming in, 323 on that one. Several more throughout our county will be opening. A lot of new experience, a lot of new interest. And we attribute a lot of it to this growth. We're very, very thrilled about the decision, obviously. We do feel that the decision to put the largest casino installation in our backyard did spur a great deal of development, spotlight, and a lot of interest in relocating in our backyard, growing our backyard, and really kind of hooking up and giving us some rooms and lodging to service some of these incredible attractions like Bethel Woods and others that are there. We really didn't have the room inventory, so now we do, and we're open for business. Some of the things as we start to continue our legacy at V2, the entire county will be experiencing the promotion and the pride of the 50th anniversary, which took place, of course, at Bethel, in Bethel, New York, on the site of the original of the Bethel Woods Performing Arts Center. We will have public dove installations throughout our entire county. If you can envision, these lovelies are going to be 7 foot by 5.5 foot doves.
Oh my goodness.
36 are expected to be delivered next week in our little community, which actually is the size of Rhode Island, and throughout all of our towns, our villages, and major attractions. Each one will be assigned a location, and we are going to be, local artists will be decorating them. We have a palette of very 60-ish colors, Peter Max type colors that we're expecting each one to be decorated in. And of course, we're going to continue to promote thematic itineraries and events, cuisine, continue our work with international, with all of our PR teams. We've been hosting all kinds of media, international press and others. And we're just going to continue down that path and make it happen and grow and appeal to everybody. We've got a lot of interest so far. And then just for us, announcement, we want to thank the governor, the announcement of the Resort World Catskills, participation in the 2016 Catskill Challenge. I think that really gave us a real important opportunity to showcase the uniqueness of our community. I mean, we had Chairman Zupke up there doing bocce ball, so by that I just... Anyway, but he really had a lot of fun. I think it really gave everybody a chance to see how beautiful that part of the state is and how much fun it is in the Catskills. 5 million Catskill region in 2016 has been, I think, a real spur to grow our economy throughout all 4 of the counties. Nomination and announcement of the National Register of Historic Places, signing the legislation to rename our Route 17 corridor Woodstock Way. We thank him for that. He joined us in 2016 as well as 2018 in Ride the Catskills, which is a real great experience for us because we have such beautiful back roads and byways, and it's such a wonderful motorcycle experience for all. So we really kind of connect all of our families together. We thank him. We look forward to the 2019 Catskill Challenge, so you can all enjoy all this. And we'll tour you around our different doves once they're painted. So that'll be part of it.
That's awesome.
But we're very excited. We're very appreciative. We appreciate our friends at I Love New York. Jim Roy, who also is going to be joining me again at our annual next month. Very much a part of the thread of where we are. I got you all over my fan tour with Brand USA and different groups that are interested. I mean, we're kind of like a family that continues to work, and we appreciate all of you, Anna, everybody. It's been a great team. Each and every one of you are like family, so you're my extension. And we thank you.
Any questions for Roberta? I have a question about the doves.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any plan to bring a dove to ITB or maybe Powwow. maybe just at the exhibit to get a little bit more awareness about
Happy
this?
to. We think we can, it may be a smaller model. I don't know, so you want my 7.5 foot by 5 foot. He doesn't travel well, but we could figure something out with that. I'd like to do that. I think that
Maybe
would
one
be
of the
fun.
airlines here could sponsor.
Anybody
Flying
like to
Dove.
take him along?
Fly a dove.
Fly a dove, Patty.
Carry
What do you
on,
think?
carry on.
Call it the Delta Dove. Come on.
We'd be happy to have a picture of it on one of your own ones. Though, if you'd like. I mean, we're happy to.
Think about that, maybe. All right, good. We threw out the idea. Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. So joining us from Bethel Woods, we're very excited to hear what the plans will be. Good friends of I Love New York, Eric Francis, who's the, really overseeing all the logistics, the general manager, operations, and has been with Bethel Woods for some time, and also Shannon McSweeney LeMay. You've been with Bethel Woods for, I think, 8 years, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you've got a fantastic job as Senior Director of Marketing and Communications. So there's lots to talk about over, for the 50th. So we're going to give you a little chance to tell us so we can help spread your word too.
Well, good afternoon, and we want to thank the council for giving us the opportunity to tell you about 2019. Although I will shamefully plug 2018 is not over. The holiday market is this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with plenty of crafters coming, great shopping opportunities, pictures with Santa, the Santa Claus movies, so, come up and see us. There's also 2 shows left this year. We have Louis Anderson, the comedian, on December 3rd, and Judy Collins on December 14th. So
she was just with us on Monday night. We, with Lieutenant Governor Hochul, she helped light the Christmas tree at Lincoln Square, which was live on WABC. Yeah. And so she was with Arlo Guthrie, so they were talking a little bit about the 50th. And it was really exciting.
Yeah, she's great.
She looks the same. It's
amazing. Bird did a great job doing the intro, and I know many of you have been to Bethel Woods or were up for the challenge, and so you're familiar with the site. But since the venue opened in 2006, we've had over 2.8 million visitors, 200 main stage performances. Over 100 or over 200 jobs are created every year because of Bethel Woods. And since that shovel hit the ground, it's over $500 million with a B of economic output for the state. So it is a great treasure for the region. I count things for a living, so that's the end of the math and the law. I apologize. As the group tasked with keeping the Woodstock spirit alive, our organization has made tons of investments over the years to preserve that legacy and draw attention to one of the most pivotal events in our state. So we believe it's appropriate to commemorate it throughout the year 2019, and in only the way that Bethel Woods can, with its unique signature and attention to excellence. As most of you would agree, I think all of our jobs, we're in the memories business. We're here to make memories and make experiences. And I'm sure nobody can argue that some of our best memories are with other people and shared with other people. And sitting at home with your iPod on listening to a song is very different than being at a concert, hands in the air with your friends around you, music hitting you. So shared experiences are very, very different, and that's something that we pride ourselves on providing. Original attendees of Woodstock will talk about that community that was created over that couple of days. And I think it's noteworthy to point out that even though it happened 50 years ago, similar forces today, the polarity, the turmoil exist, where the ideals of the 60s generation, social responsibility, caring for others, tolerance, are all things that are truly worth probably revisiting, given our current climate. So the elephant in the room, how is the stewards of the original site going to celebrate the greatest festival of all time? The short answer is we're going to do a lot of things that we'll talk about today. And if you want to hear about a multi-day festival or a big concert, we're not at liberty to discuss it at this time. We have been working hard with our partners to pull some things together, and we will continue to work diligently. And All of you, I just ask to stay tuned, ignore the, dare I say, fake news and the leaks that are out there. We'll provide you with official information as it becomes available. But on this slide are a couple of things we're doing next year that are exciting. Some of them are related to the work that the museum does in preserving the site, interpreting the site, and we're going to go through a couple of these right now. One of the museum exhibits for 2019 is called We Are Golden, inspired by the Joni Mitchell classic song Woodstock that CSN also did a cover of. You know, we are stardust, we are golden, we are 400 billion-year-old carbon, we have to get ourselves back to the garden. That's the most singing you'll ever hear me do. The exhibit will examine what the youth of 1969 wanted for the world and, consideration of others, caring for the environment. These are all things that came out of the 60s and so many of the movements that are still out there today. But the exhibit will have audio, video, photographs, artifacts, and we'll organize it in 4 sections. So the first one will be Voices from the Past, so people from the 60s talking about in their own words, their first-person commentary about the 60s. And the second would be Woodstock Remembered. So the artifacts that we have, as well as things we'll borrow from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Hard Rock, will be on display. The third phase would be Woodstock through the lens, so the best photographers and photography that was taken back then to tell that story. And then the last part would be what the world needs now, so people who are visiting can say, what do they expect for the next generation? So there'll also be a photo booth where you can dress up in 60s clothes, take a picture, send it to your friends around the world, so that will also be a part of this exhibit. Many forget that the lunar landing occurred in July of 1969, or if you're a conspiracy theorist, the original airing of the movie. So We Are Stardust will be another exhibit located in our Crossroads Gallery that's going to focus on the space race and the Cold War, which were happening parallel to all the other things going on in the 60s. So as an aside, our education group will also be hosting a lunar festival on May 18th and 19th, which will have special presentations and music and a blow-up planetarium. And it will conclude with a night in the museum for families where they can sleep over in the museum, and famous people from the 60s will come alive and torment your kids. No, I'm just kidding. But it's a nice event, s'mores, storytelling, so it's a great event. 2 other quick things just to mention about what will be going on next year. We routinely have outdoor sculptures around the site, so we will have an outdoor sculpture exhibit as you walk into the museum and around the concert venue, so that's something that we will have again. And secondarily, the original festival had a vending area called the Bindi Bazaar, which was located across the street from the original 69 field. And we have recreated some of those trails, and you can actually see where the vending booths were and where the vendors built stones to, accent their booth, and there's a tire swing that's still there from 1969. So this is all in hopes of extending people's visit with us, making them stay a little longer and see more of the campus and be able to take more in while they're there. And this leads to, extending the visit is important, and that leads to our next big thing, which is the multimedia tour of the site, which we want to launch next year. So with an app or a device we provide you, you'll be able to go all around the site and experience things in augmented reality, where you'll be able to hear the music or stand on the stage and see it from a bird's eye view of how it looked to be on the stage, and then also interpret other historic things that happen on the property. So it should be really, really unique. Our pavilion concert season. Oh, did I go too fast? Did I skip one? I think we're one back from that.
This one?
There you go.
Okay.
Our pavilion concert series, we will, aim to do our 20 to 25 main stage performances like we have in the past. Carlos Santana years ago was on stage and referred to it as Ground Zero for Peace and Love. So if you haven't come to see a concert at Bethel Woods, you really should. It is highly unique. We already have announced one show, Training the Goo Goo Dolls, for July of next year, which is early, but keep your eyes peeled. More will be coming. Moving on, something new that we're working on next year. Sorry, one back from that. There you go, vibrations. This will be about 10 events during the year that we're working on with a group called Momentum, a communications group. And this will be different change makers, speakers, influencers, artists that will do more of a workshop type event with people to focus on songwriting, photography, film screening, sustainability, and wellness. A really broad scope of activities, but all will harken back to the original ideals of Woodstock, which was the power of love and community connecting during chaotic times. So this is something new for this year that we'll be putting out. And lastly, the Event Gallery Concert Series. This will be in the small, intimate room we have in the museum. Again, if you haven't seen a show there, it's amazing. It's like being in your living room, 400 seats, so it's really small. We will be putting in original Woodstock performers, and we'll also be taking some new people that are inspired by those types of performers in the room. So we'll be announcing some more of those concerts shortly as well. And now I'm going to turn it over to Shannon to give you some more fun stuff.
So again, I just want to echo Eric's thank you so much for having us. Thank you for all of the support and partnership that Ross and your team and the governor has provided us over the years. We couldn't do it without you, and we don't get to say thanks often enough, so thank you. Moving into more of the marketing focused things, one of the first things we'll launch in the new year is a 50th anniversary poster contest. So this is going to be promoted nationally. It'll include amateurs, students, as well as professionals to design a poster that really embodies these ideals that Eric's been talking about for the next generation of what Woodstock could mean. So there'll be a lot of national, regional promotion for that. And then there'll be an unveiling event for that in May. So stay tuned. But it's a good way to kind of get people involved, get schools involved in really understanding the message. And a lot of what our focus is this was this pivotal event that happened in 1969, but it's not just something from the past. We're really invested in carrying those ideas forward. They're so relevant today, and making people, really cognizant of the fact that this is something that still matters. It doesn't just matter to your grandparents. It's something that the younger people of today can completely relate to and make their own now. Another event that we are close to confirming the specific date on is something we've done in the past, which we did somewhat spur of the moment last time, but it's bringing in a large inflatable screen and putting it on the original historic field and filming the entire Warner Brothers documentary of the Woodstock film. We did it in the 45th anniversary year with only about a month's notice, and we had about 1,000 people show up to that, and it was 32 degrees out. Wow. Oh my gosh. So with advance notice and everything, we're sure this is going to be really well-attended event. It's a lot of fun. Just being able to sit on that lawn and kind of watch the festival unfold around you, people were in awe the last time. So we're hoping for better weather. And we think we'll add some activities and things throughout the day, to kind of amp it up into a more than just the film that night. We've also been collaborating with several partners on projects they're working on. Time Life has, for the past several years, done a flower power cruise, which leaves in March from here in the city. This year's will be very much themed around Woodstock's anniversary. Wade Lawrence, our museum director, has appeared as a speaker and a guest on the cruises in the past. Obviously, he's going to be a little bit busy this year, but two of our volunteers are also Woodstock alumni. They're the couple from the cover of the Woodstock album. And they get a ton of press in their own right. Yeah. But they will. They're actually going to participate in the cruise this year. So it's a really great opportunity. We get people coming to the museum all the time who are like, "Oh, we were on the cruise, and we came." So they did a really nice job with it. They have some original performers on board, and they do a lot of great marketing around it. Roberta has mentioned a lot of the local partnerships we're doing, but we're also partnering with the town of Bethel, who is developing a heritage trail, which will identify where important sites were throughout the town related to Woodstock. So some of them will be within our property, but others will be where like the Vasmer's General Store had been, and different locations that were important at the time. And we're working with them. This past August, we launched an online photo archive that includes all of the museums, all of the photography and video that we own the rights to that's been donated to us over the years. So we made that available They're using some of that to help to develop the Heritage Trail. We're also working with Finnan Partners and Door and everybody to use those to supply the media, because the inbound media inquiries get crazy during anniversary years. So it's a nice repository of historical images that they can all use as they start working on the volume of Woodstock stories that will happen across the world over the next 12 months. Roberta also mentioned renaming of 17B and the Dove Trail. The county is also working on directional signage that we put up around the county, with pointing to important destinations, but in the style of these wooden signs that were within the Bindi Bazaar that Eric mentioned. So they'll point, to different places and also identify where the original site was. And the town of Bethel is also looking at some other plans, such as a parade and hosting a 60s themed film. So everybody locally is really working in partnership to make the most of it and to really take the opportunity to, sorry Rick, but let the world know that Woodstock happened in Bethel.
We say that on June, all of us.
The idea was in Ulster County first.
So, just an overview of some of the kind of marketing strategy that we have, currently and going into the year. And a lot of it dovetails very nicely with, I think, a lot of I Love New York strategy, which, we've done deliberately. But we're really focused on kind of a regional drive audience, expanding from, let's say a DC to Boston sort of area, getting them to come up for short stays, and then turning those into longer stage. We're also looking to target national, international tourists who are coming to New York. We don't quite have the budgets to do national campaigns on our own, but we want to make sure we're capturing people who are coming in. We'll obviously be leveraging the anniversary, and we'll be maximizing all the partnerships we possibly can. We have had over our history, a very strong boomer base, given the history of the site. Over the past several years, we've been focusing on maintaining that legacy customer, but also really growing our family travel, the millennials to Gen X, young families. And I know that's one of I Love New York's major initiatives as well. So we're doing a lot of things to support that, whether it's coupling programming together that families can do as a group, just the way we market and talk to people. And, as Eric mentioned, kind of expanding a lot of the educational programs that we do. And education is, they're fun too. And then we also launched a new brand identity with new visual imagery and language and everything at the end of this year, which really helps to articulate that experience and set us apart from not just being a music venue, which a lot of people who just come to a concert, they're coming because it's their favorite band. Right. They're not necessarily noticing that there's more going on. So we're really working hard to make sure that when we do have the opportunity to interact with people, they're understanding how much more there is to do, so they come back to the region, they come back to Bethel Woods, and we grow those visits. Some major initiatives we'll be doing throughout the year is we are working with, we just brought on a new full-service marketing partner in Ad Workshop. One of the first things we're working on is a new website, which will have a 50th anniversary microsite embedded within it for the year. It will also, for the first time, will have some foreign language components to the site, because we're also, I'll get to in a second, but doing some international marketing. So that new visual identity will be out there, really laser focused on those target audiences. We continue every year to increase our spend in digital and more sophisticated search engine optimization, search marketing, programmatic, native, all of the possible platforms we can be on there. And really one of our big focuses for the coming year is just to increase the content we're developing ourselves, because everything is content, rich. We have a great email marketing success rate. When we do our surveys, 60% of people say they've heard about us from us. So that's great, but we need to get more and more people into that pool then. We are also having really good success on platforms such as TripAdvisor. AAA and AARP have always been successful for us, and we've been growing our advertising on targeted music platforms, and I think that'll be an important component for next year, given the anniversary. So we're seeing good success with those as well. For the anniversary year, we've always done, kind of the CTM brochure distribution and whatnot, but we really expanded it to make sure we're covering and blanketing all of the major tourist attraction, areas in the city, as well as up the Thruway, the Hudson Valley hotels, through AAAs, to make sure that we're getting that brochure into somebody's hands who didn't even know we existed before they walked into the 9/11 Museum or, Penn Station or wherever. So that's been a major initiative that we began at the end of the summer this year. We'll be doing some very targeted print focused on the travel market as well. We do the USA Today, Destinations New York. We do Heritage for heritage travelers, but we target it very carefully where we do that. And then we've been working closely with Roberta and also with all of our local partners, from Resorts World to the new Cartwright as they're getting ready to open, to really start to develop, really collaborate well on building itineraries and packages and cross-promoting each other as a region and as, a longer stay opportunity than, just come up and stay inside of the casino or stay inside of the water park or come to just a concert. It's really, how do we package this all together, focused on the particular audience type, and be able to serve them things that are going to be of interest based on their interests. So we've been working and having a lot of conversations to develop those. We want to thank you guys, because that's not here, but for including us in the Welcome Center. It looks beautiful. And we're also looking at launching for the summer a transit campaign, hopefully both something in the city as well as potentially on the coach buses that go to Woodbury Common. We submit an Empire State Building tower lighting request for the anniversary weekend, so I know we might have a little leverage there, maybe. But just for another good moment to get people's attention, we have a really good partner in a Times Square digital billboard agency who gives us great nonprofit rates. So we've done a couple of campaigns this year with them. We're also going to have a Christmas to New Year's right in the path for the wall drop, and then we'll have probably a 12-week campaign running with them next year throughout Times Square. They have 3 different locations. We've got the Stewart Airport Arrivals Terminal, and we also recently brought on one of those great, anybody who comes up our way, as you get off of the Thruway and come up 17, there's this set of billboards that everybody sees in Chester. So we have one of those now with the new campaign on it. As I mentioned earlier, we've also started working with Brand USA. We are doing one of their music and entertainment initiatives. So there's a 2-minute tourism video that we're developing with them that should launch by March. It'll be primarily promoted in the UK, Germany. There's a Spotify component that will run in Canada. We'll have some Chinese language translation for the experience page. And then we'll also use that video domestically to promote tourism on pre-roll videos and things like that. And we've been already working to coordinate on the public relations side between our internal team, between Finn and Partners, between the door. There's a lot of folks involved in making sure we get, the most earned media possible out of this opportunity. And so it's going to be really super important to make sure we're all aligned and not tripping over each other as we're out there pitching. And so we're already kind of making sure that that's going on. You've seen some of the great stuff that's already come in. And then obviously the inbound fan tours and media tours and things that have already started last year will continue, and we're always eager to have those folks come and visit with us. And then this is just some examples of the new campaign that we have launched out there now. So it's leveraging the importance of the sense of place where Bethel Woods is and what we stand for, but also showing that it, what I'm talking about, and it's forward looking. It's not just looking backwards. It's now. It's not, you can come and you can feel the history, but you can also come and understand that it's relevant today and you can change each individual who visits, we want them to kind of come away feeling like they can make a positive change. So that's
Jen,
kind of it in a nutshell.
How, thank you so much for that. We're just curious how many, have you made projections on how many visitors or how many can you accommodate? I know you've got the new hotel stock coming in, but
Right.
what do you think?
The additional lodging, obviously, like Roberta said, having beds in the area is going to be a game changer in and of itself. And then the concert visitors are based on on what we book.
But just that weekend.
Oh, just
Or,
the weekend?
just the weekend, like do you expect that you're gonna have like this massive traffic
Less than
jam
500,000.
on the freeway?
Or just shy of less than 500 that weekend. Actually, the projections with a lot of the new openings that are coming in here, we're looking to almost double our existing for the whole summer. That particular weekend, I think it's a safe bet just now, talking to all of from our HomeAways, because you have to remember that Sullivan County outside of Manhattan has the largest second homeowner population. So all these homes are already taken up. So if I can safely tell you right now, the week prior and the week after and the week of, almost everybody's already booked. And people are already starting to ask all the other, quite frankly, every time something gets announced, we're all inundated. And we like that. We'll keep it coming. So we're trying to inspire and say that we're going to really almost double the whole visitor anticipation that we had last year. We'd like to see that and more.
So when Woodstock happened, there was a lot of camping going on. Is that, are you expecting people to sleep out on the premises or?
Our goal is that the local, rooms, campgrounds will meet that need. Presently.
And I think as you can hear about the strategy, and I know they've been talking about it for a while, it's not about making it about a weekend.
Right.
It's about the idea that there is going to be stuff going on all summer long.
Right.
That if you want to be a part of this experience, you can find a way to be a part.
Right. It's really about capturing the attention that's going to be on this historic event and using it to introduce what's here, so that it's not I'm not looking to get a ton of people to come in 3 days. I'm looking to get people to come from now on. Get on their radar, make them understand all that the Catskills has, all that Sullivan County has, all that there is to do at Bethel Woods, all the city partners coming on board, and now make it part of their to-do list, and then come back again, and that sort of a thing. So leveraging everybody's hysterics about it's the anniversary to take that spotlight and showcase everything.
And really
For
make it
longer
as
term.
sustainable as possible.
Right.
So not only are we going to have this huge 2019, we'd like to see it for the next 10 years continue to grow and bring more and more in there. And we think we're on our way, because a lot of the things that had happened in the 5 years prior, this past 5 years, have really kind of continued to build us up. And that's why we are so thankful for all the work that had been done to kind of tee us up to this point. And we knew that we had this great attraction that was going to have this incredible anniversary, that the world spotlight was going to be on us. And so far, so good. But we need all of you, and we need to continue to grow that story. We need to make it not only a Sullivan Catskills and Empire State and all of our neighboring regions. I want them to think, when you think this 50th anniversary for this generation or this change, you're not only going to think about our part of the state, but you're going to think about the whole state and the impact that we make. And it's only here in New York that you can find these things, and that's what we're counting on, is taking that gateway and making sure. That's why we're all over Stewart. We're all over all your stuff in the city. Every place we can get a possibility to be a partner with you. What do I always tell you girls? I'm in. I don't care. I'm in. I'll do it. We'll figure out a way, and we do, because it's important that this story's there, and we're getting so much from all of your outside offices, all of your offices overseas have been in constant pickup with us, so it's good.
Terrific. Well, we wish you all the best, and we'll see you out there.
Thank you.
Anybody have questions or new business?
What's the nearest Amtrak stop?
Well, there's another story that can we put
Or-
in the wish
or
list
Metro
while
North.
I'm here? Here's my dream list. Let me just share with you now that I got the right people around the table. When you come in and you land over and you come over MTA, what do you think about a monorail? going from there right up to us, and you can stop all the way through. How would that be? Roll over Walt Disney. We could have it right here in this great state.
You've got a few months to build it.
Solve me all the problems.
Hits, don't they? Can we do that? Well, the Lego group is coming. Maybe we can do a
I
Lego
don't know
event.
as though that's going to actually, be sustainable to get down here. Though it's another reason why we need the monorail. I leave you with this. I think it's something to think about.
Great idea. The woman who conceived of the art walk across the Rip Van Winkle Bridge, runs the Thomas Cole House, Betsy Jackson, came up with a campaign a year or so ago. It was highway signs on like 9G on the east side of the river, and it was advertising not only the Cole House but other things in Catskill. And the punchline was, "It's only a river, get over it."
Well, thanks. Just a reminder for the TAC members, the governor is going to be hosting a meeting tomorrow, or an announcement at LaGuardia Airport about the next stage of development. Ralph, you want to share anything on that? Just encouraging everyone to RSVP.
I don't think today is too early to announce, but the first big component of the project is going to be opened, the first concourse at the new Central Terminal building.
Terrific.
So that's what the governor will be highlighting tomorrow.
Yeah, it is amazing how quickly I was just there yesterday, and I was there the week before, and in 1 week, I was able to drive on a new road. So I kid you not, it is very impressive. Okay, well, our next meeting is going to be on Thursday, January 24th here in the city. So we look forward to seeing you then. And I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. It is now, I have to say for the record, 12:41. Motion to adjourn. Thank you. Second? Okay. Thank you, Thurman. Again, Thurman, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And we wish you all very happy holidays, safe travels in and around New York State.
Only.
See you.